Performers are canceling their North Carolina shows because of HB2. We'll show you why others are choosing not to.
A substance is making its way into popular street drugs, undetected and deadly.
Some athletes choose not to wear their athletic gear in the classroom. We'll tell you why. All that and more.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
A federal appeals court says not allowing transgender students to use the bathrooms they choose is discriminatory. I'm Sharon Nunn.
And I'm Ben Smart. Thanks for joining us. That case happened in Virginia, but the ruling could have a major effect here in our state, North Carolina. North Carolina House Bill 2 requires transgender people to use the bathroom that corresponds to the sex listed on their birth certificate. Reporter Luis Fernandez joins us live in the studio with what this latest court ruling means for the future of the law. Luis?
Yeah, Ben, it could really change things up. House Bill 2 has many parts, It determines what is considered discrimination. It sets a statewide pay rate with the Wage and Hour Act, and it removes the ability to sue for discrimination in state court. But the part of the bill that's been getting most of the attention is the bathroom provision, which says you can use the bathroom only of your biological sex. In the Virginia case, the court says the school violated Title IX regulations, a federal gender equality law, siding with high school junior, Gavin Grimm, a transgender male student who was not allowed to use the men's bathroom. So what does this mean for North Carolina? Well, it's now possible that a court could find HB2 also violates Title IX regulations at North Carolina public schools, which could mean losing federal funding. Governor Pat McCrory says he disagrees with the federal court ruling, calling it aggressive. Senate President Pro Tem Phil Berger also expressed anger about the ruling. And Ben, another fact that ties us even closer to North Carolina, the Fourth Circuit Court that ruled in the Virginia case is the same one North Carolina falls under.
Both sides will surely be digging into this ruling for sure. Thanks, Luis. Bruce Springsteen, Ringo, Starr, and Boston, they're all rock icons who have chosen to take a stand against House Bill 2. They're pulling out of North Carolina for their engagements, and they aren't the only ones, opposed to the new law. While some groups like Cirque du Soleil are canceling their scheduled North Carolina shows, not everyone thinks this is the best strategy. North Carolina Needs You is an organization that urges performers to keep their engagements or even schedule new shows and donate those profits to LGBT groups. Some artists, including Cyndi Lauper and Mumford & Sons, are heeding the group's advice. The UNC Faculty Council has joined the growing list of businesses, celebrities, and organizations that have called for the repeal of House Bill 2. The council passed unanimous resolution affirming and recognizing UNC's non-discrimination policy and urging the General Assembly and Governor McCrory to nullify the law.
More than 36 North Carolina breweries are teaming up to protest House Bill 2 also. Eric Myers of Mystery Brewing Company in Hillsborough helped come up with the idea to create and serve a beer to express the beer industry's disapproval of HB2. Myers came up with a simple name for the beer: Don't Be Mean to People. The brew is made entirely of North Carolina ingredients, and 100% of the proceeds will go to organizations benefiting the LGBT community, such as Equality and Seed. Myers says every sip serves an important reminder.
Do what we can about showing the world that we are not this awful place. There's a lot of good to be had in North Carolina. Yeah.
The beer will be on tap in May at more than 40 breweries across the state.
In honor of National Donate Life Month, UNC Hospitals is dedicating its transplant clinic to a former student, Jason Ray. He was a former Ramsey's mascot, and he died in 2007 after being hit by a car in New Jersey during the NCAA tournament. Ray donated his organs to 118 people and inspired 46,000 more to sign up as organ donors.
What you don't know can't hurt you. This old saying couldn't be further from the truth, particularly when it comes to prescription drugs.
That's right, and one painkiller might be responsible for many overdose deaths in North Carolina and across the country, and you may have never even heard of this drug. Avery Hall joins us live at UNC Hospitals with more about the deaths that awareness could have prevented. Avery.
Ben and Sharon, the number of overdose deaths that happen in our state every year has more than tripled in the past 2 decades. Now, most of those deaths are attributed to heroin and cocaine, but I investigated a ghost drug that's winding up in other drugs and playing a fatal role.
You would think that doesn't do much. That's just a little bit of nothing. Be surprised.
In this tiny skin patch, a drug 50 to 100 times more potent than heroin. Fentanyl, a prescription painkiller. When used correctly, it's effective in treating patients with severe chronic pain. But Dr. Tim Ives says, in the wrong hands, fentanyl becomes fatal.
If grandma's got them and grandkids know about it, that's where they're going to go into the garbage and pick them up.
Fentanyl is a highly addictive opiate, like heroin, but far more potent, meaning a little too much can cause sudden death. Dealers can extract this potent drug from the patches and cut it into drugs like heroin to help stretch their supply. The unsuspecting user thinks they know what they're taking, not accounting for the hidden ingredient that can cause instant cardiac arrest. Addictions therapist Britta Stark treats many cocaine and heroin users. She often hears this when one of them has a first experience with fentanyl.
I don't know what was in it, but it wasn't what I usually use, and it scared me to death.
Stark heads up an addiction team here at UNC's Substance Abuse Outpatient Treatment Program. They say the average age that their patients encounter fentanyl is 19 to 23, and that most of them don't use it on purpose.
I've actually heard a lot of young people say, God, help me get off of heroin, man, I gotta kick it because I don't want to do that.
Fentanyl has caused more than one wave of overdoses in our state. Drugs laced with fentanyl have accounted for deaths in at least 4 counties since 2014. North Carolina has had 19 known deaths from fentanyl misuse already in 2016. It's not just the strength of this drug that makes it so dangerous. People can fetch patches out of trash cans and reuse them, can easily modify or recreate fentanyl, and a standard drug screen won't identify it. Dr. Ives says that fentanyl fatalities can be prevented with proper use and disposal.
Put it back in the plastic sleeve, put it back in the box, and return us all your used patches.
A simple first step to keeping fentanyl off the streets. And Ben and Sharon, Dr. Ives told me that other important steps to preventing fentanyl abuse include locking your medicine cabinets and only taking medications that are legally prescribed to you. Back to you guys.
It's a very serious issue. Avery Hall, live at UNC hospitals. Thank you.
Alert Carolina sent out an email this afternoon detailing an armed robbery occurring off campus near the intersection of Henderson and North Streets in Chapel Hill. It happened just before 1 a.m. this morning. The victim wasn't hurt, but the 2 thieves took his backpack, wallet, and phone. The UNC Department of Public Safety says that increasing patrols in the area will start soon. And as it turns out, the 2 Nobel Prize winning doctors from UNC are not only brilliant, but also generous. Both Oliver Smithies and Aziz Sanjar donated their $310,000 to different places. Dr. Smithies divided his up among the 4 universities where he researched, including UNC, while Dr. Sanjar donated his to his Chapel Hill Foundation for the International Students and International Scholars. Replicas of their Nobel Peace Prizes are in display in Davis Library.
Do you ditch real butter for a healthier option? Well, UNC researchers say maybe you shouldn't. Their findings suggest that linoleic acid found in some alternative butter options might be worse for you than saturated fat found in butter when it comes to contributing to the very serious heart disease. So next time you're frying up in the pan, you might want to stick with good old-fashioned butter.
You've heard about giving a helping hand, but what about a helping paw or a helping hoof even? Health reporter Jessica Porter explains.
With her big paws and brown eyes, this Labrador makes owner Sarah Leck smile.
She loves to snuggle, she loves to play, she likes to take naps, and she's great.
Her dog, Gracie, is more than a pet.
And as someone that struggles with mental illness, being in a routine is super helpful, and it's part of a treatment plan that people don't often think about.
But dogs aren't the only animals that can help people who are struggling with mental illness. Here, at Corral Riding Academy in Cary, horses like Ruth play an active role in therapy.
For many, many people, animals are emotional support. Just the feel of the cat's fur or the dog.
Keena Jones says that being around animals can lower your heart rate, which can reduce stress and anxiety.
Giving the body and the brain a chance to take a break, perhaps, from the depression in that moment.
Open your mouth.
UNC student Leck says people should consider spending time with animals as a part of therapy.
Knowing that I have to get up in the morning and feed her is so helpful and encouraging and helps me keep a positive outlook on life.
Leck says knowing Gracie is waiting for her to come home every day keeps her going forward. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jessica Porter reporting.
Oh. Researchers say spending between 5 to 25 minutes per day with an animal can lower your anxiety.
Searching classified ad websites could be, well, a great way to find a deal.
Coming up, we'll tell you about a safe place to actually meet up and make the sale happen. Exhibits on campus are often difficult for us to ignore, like this one here. 1,100 backpacks, each representing a college student who committed suicide. A nonprofit called Active Minds brought the exhibit to the quad to show people how many students take their lives each year. The group's goal is to show us how bad the problem is.
Those online deals can be tempting for some college student, but as reporter Anik Joseph shows us, there are safe places that you could help cash in safely.
2 young boys was murdered while trying to sell an iPhone 5 on Craigslist.
Missing after he was planning to sell his car on Craigslist.
Was shot and killed in an apparent robbery during a Craigslist deal.
A cell phone, a car, or even concert tickets. Just one click of the mouse, these items can be yours at a discounted price. But sometimes a good deal can cost you.
There are a lot of online purchases where arrangements are made between students or citizens in general, and there's going to be an exchange of cash, so that can be concerning.
UNC Police Chief Jeff McCracken says when people meet for online sales, they run the risk of
someone stealing the money from them and leaving the scene, that kind of things.
Something police departments across the country are trying to help prevent. Designated areas like this one in Apex are providing safe places for internet exchanges, which helps limit giving personal information out or even possible danger meeting strangers in a random location.
You know, there are a lot of things sold on the internet. Not all of them are legal. So particularly in this case, only legal transactions would be allowed to take place in the lobby of the Public Safety Building. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Anik Joseph reporting.
Craigslist reports that nearly 60 million people use the site monthly in the U.S. Incidents involving crime are rare.
Searching for Wi-Fi connections just got easier. The Orange County Public Library has a new pilot program to rent out Wi-Fi devices. You check the units out just like you check out a regular book. There are 15 devices available for 3-week rental periods, but you can't use the book slots to return them.
Wi-Fi allows many people to work away from the office. In fact, it's becoming a trend. A growing number of North Carolinians prefer a new work setting, and no, it's not a coffee shop. A new study found that more than 200,000 people are working from home in the state. Homeworkers say they enjoy benefits like skipping that daily commute and spending more time with their families. Well, coming up next, the lawn is starting to look more like a beach now that the warm weather is back.
Kat Campbell will have the forecast for you when we return. That's next.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell, and we have had absolutely gorgeous summer-like temperatures the past couple of days, coupled with some sunshine here. But unfortunately, that has not been the case for the rest of the country. We have had nice high pressure trapped over us, bringing us this nice weather. But unfortunately, the deep south is not quite so lucky. In the upper atmosphere where the jet stream is located, we had a dip in the jet stream over the Rockies, and that dip turned into an upper level low that's been trapped between 2 high pressure systems. So this low pressure is just stuck over the Rockies right now. And we also have the southerly flow, which is bringing some moisture into the Texas area. And these two things combined are bringing absolutely torrential flooding to the Texas area. Houston especially, where they've received almost 10 inches of rain so far. All in all, 8.8 trillion gallons of water have fallen over the area, and it's proved to be deadly, with 7 dead and 1,200 rescued so far, with an estimated $5 billion in damage in Houston so far. So this system is going to be moving into our area, but it's not going to get stuck over us like it was in Texas. That's the good news. It'll be here on Friday, though, so we get to enjoy this nice weather a little bit longer. 76 degrees right now with sunny skies, a low dew point, low humidity, gorgeous weather out there with just a slight breeze right now. It will cool off tonight though, and we are going to see that system start moving towards the east coast, which means we are going to start seeing some clouds move into our area here, but temperatures will get chilly down to 49 tonight. And now, the pollen has been nasty these past couple of days, but the rain means that there will be some relief in sight. Today, we had high pollen levels. Tomorrow, high pollen levels once again. But by Friday, we are going to see that rain move in, and that means we'll get to see just a bit of a break from the pollen, but it will likely turn into that green goop on the sidewalk. So it won't be that great so far, but we are going to see those pollen levels start going down fairly soon here, as we are pretty far into April right now. So tomorrow, you can see that system is approaching our area. It's finally moving out of Texas here, so we can't complain. It'll be a relief for Texas. We could see a brief sprinkle in the area, but that is not likely. It's likely that the rain won't arrive in the area until Friday, when we will see much heavier rainfall throughout the day to start out your weekend. So tomorrow, slight chance of rain. It wouldn't hurt to have an umbrella in your backpack, but for your fashion forecast, you really don't have to have the full rain gear out. Partly cloudy skies with a high in the upper 70s here, so I recommend wearing shorts and a t-shirt or a summer sundress. Just make sure you have an extra layer with you because it will be a bit chilly when you wake up tomorrow morning here. So for your 5-day forecast ahead, we have the clouds moving in tomorrow with temperatures in the upper 70s and the rain moving in on Friday with temperatures in the upper 70s. And once that rain moves through, it's associated with a cold front, so it'll be just a bit chillier on Saturday, and then we'll warm up to start our week next week.
Looking forward to those warmer temperatures.
Thank goodness that the rain is not getting stuck over us like it was in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are from the Houston area, so are your family and friends safe right now?
That's right. Well, thankfully, my family completely safe, but I've been watching on Snapchat and my Facebook newsfeed. Those downpours have been absolutely torrential. So my thoughts have been going out to everyone who's been in that situation.
Yeah, it's been terrifying to watch on Facebook particularly. Thanks so much, Kat.
Thank you. Well, it's been a rough month for those Diamond Heels.
When we return, we'll take a look at what the team needs to do to finish the season strong.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Rivers Upchurch with sports. After a rough weekend in my hometown of Charlottesville, Virginia, the suddenly struggling Diamond Heels returned home to take on Coastal Carolina Tuesday evening. The Chanticleers got off to a hot start by putting up 4 runs in the first. Carolina fought back with two RBIs and a dinger from sophomore Zach Gahagan, but freshman Rodney Hutchison had a career night for the Heels, leaving the mound with 7 strikeouts. But UNC still took the L. Finishing with a final score of 6-3, the boys are set to take on William & Mary tonight at 6 p.m. to try to turn around this miserable April. We went inside the spring game like never before with star wide receiver Mac Hollins mic'd up. Let's take a listen.
Give me that. Hey, Bug. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Offense on 3. 1, 2, 3. Offense. Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Everybody getting this work today. Everybody getting this work today. Come on, man. 3 times, 3 times. 3 times, 3 times, 3 times.
Student athletes at Carolina have been under a dark cloud for more than 4 years, and the NCAA could issue sanctions related to 18 years of academic fraud within just a few weeks. Reporter Kelly Glendenning talked with one UNC student athlete who has felt the impact of the scandal in the classroom.
Water bottles, jackets, tennis shoes. They're what help identify the student athletes among us. But some athletes would rather blend in with their classmates.
I just really tried to refrain from wearing anything that would show him that I was a student athlete.
Junior Sophie McCoy plays lacrosse. The Weinstein report about the scandal didn't mention her team, but McCoy still felt uncertain about wearing her UNC athletics gear to class after hearing her professor make negative comments.
Mentioned a lot of things about the athletic scandal that occurred and how he kind of had this idea about athletes being cheaters and not true students.
The last class we talked a lot about.
Sports law professor Barbara Osborne was on the faculty athletics committee for 2 terms.
We heard lots of stories, both from student athletes and from faculty, about problems with athletes in classes, or from the student athlete side, that they were being treated differently or being treated unfairly.
Osborne says UNC student athletes have a place and purpose on campus.
Everyone has a different reason for coming to Carolina. And everyone has a different reason for choosing the classes that they choose to take. And for that reason, everybody needs to be treated the same.
McCoy does all she can to distinguish herself as a student.
I'll sit in the front row of the classroom so the teacher doesn't think I'm in the back kind of goofing off. I always make sure to introduce myself to the professors so they can put a face to my name.
Once her English professor found out she was an athlete, McCoy said he didn't treat her any differently.
I had proven myself as a really good student early on in the classroom that it didn't cause him to think back on anything and think less of me as a student at that point.
That's the positive perception that McCoy says she hopes all professors have of athletes in the future. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kelly Glendenning reporting.
Experts have been all over the place in regards to the punishments UNC might face, from a hefty fine and nothing more to banners coming down in the Smith Center. Now, a new academic progress report came out today, Ben and Sharon, and it is an all-time record high academic rating for the North Carolina student athletes.
Yeah, we really are trying to turn it around. We are.
Absolutely.
They are. You know, I can't speak for all student athletes, but the student athletes I know are all very hardworking and really great at time management. So thanks, Rivers.
Thank you.
Well, you've probably never heard of Communiversity.
One group of local students is helping to make a difference in the community and in their own lives, one step at a time. Probably never think about 11-year-olds.
That's right, but then you probably never heard of what's called Communiversity.
True.
Reporter Laura Fellwalk shows us the unexpected power of a name.
CYP. It stands for Communiversity Youth Programming, but for Program Director Chris Wallace, it's so much more.
We're here to enhance the gifts that they already have within them.
Wallace, named director of the program in 2012, uses Communiversity, an after-school program for kindergarten through 5th grade students of the Durham, Carrboro, and Chapel Hill communities, to teach his scholars about the value of work, dedication, and skill.
We are what you want to be.
Wallace just received the 2016 Robert E. Bryan Public Service Award, which recognizes outstanding engagement and service to the state of North Carolina. Wallace says the award shows the respect he has for his scholars.
Every time I look in these scholars' eyes, it's almost like a reflection of my younger self, with the exception that they're much wiser than I was.
And for scholar Sky Horton, Mr. Chris is more than just a mentor.
To me, he's like a brother because he's very nice and he'll tell you the right things to make, the right choices to make, and he's a really nice man.
For Wallace, this job doesn't end when he goes home. The kids of Communiversity are always on his mind. So much so, he can't even accept his award without them. In Chapel Hill, I'm Laura Fellwalk.
What a great program. These kids seem to be doing great, and my mom's actually a teacher, so she loves working with kids, and I'm happy to see those kids are doing great as well.
Yeah, so great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for watching.
Have a great night, everyone.